Guys, I want to share a little bit about this ministry with you. Some of you guys heard on the radio, I had an interview this morning. And Bart and I were talking, and he allowed me to share 2 minutes, maybe 30 seconds added to that airtime, because that's radio time for you. I'm going to share maybe 3 minutes. Is that okay? Yeah. Cool. I was going through a point in my life where I was just asking God, I'm struggling, I'm doing the youth ministry thing, doing leading worship at church. Is this something that you still want to do? And by the way, I was driving 2 hours to Statesboro and back 3 days a week to go to Georgia Southern. Woo! Yeah, that's a long drive. You can do that. She liked to woo it. Anyway, so I had a lot of time to pray and to think, and I got to thinking, I'm getting this degree in business, and yet I'm doing ministry at a church, and that sometimes goes together and sometimes it doesn't. And so I was trying to be submissive to God and say, hey, what is it that you want me to do? I said, there's a lot of things, God, that I could do, but I want what you want. And so my prayer was, God, if you want me to pursue business, I'm getting a degree, great, I'll do that. If you want me to stick and focus just on youth ministry, I can do that. Or if you want me to focus on music, I could do that. Or the same thing that I'm doing now in the best of both worlds, Hannah Montana. Yeah, I got some Hannah Montana fans. Yeah, and the last thing that I said, and I was very honest to God when I said this, I'll even flip a hamburger. How many of you guys would flip a hamburger after pursuing a degree for 4 years, in my case, 5.5? I was in all honesty when I was talking to God. I said, if none of these things that I mentioned is what you want, and if you want me to go to McDonald's and flip a hamburger, God, I'll do it. I was submitting myself to God. And I came to realize that a lot of times we get lost in life and we don't know what to do, and we try to ask God, what is it we want to do? Or God, what do you want us to do? And we get totally lost. And what I found out was you have to be willing to flip a hamburger. Even if you're pursuing a business degree or a master's or a doctorate or whatever degree. And not just a hamburger, that's just a simile or metaphor. I'm not good with English. But you got to be willing to lay yourself down. You've got to be willing to lower yourself than what the world looks at you and thinks you should do. See, Jesus did that. And He took off His robe. He was in a cloth, and He lowered Himself from king to servant and washed His disciples' feet. That's what we have to do. We've got to be willing to lower ourselves to either wash feet or flip burgers or something. Something we've got to be willing to do. I'm not saying that God's going to say that you're going to have to work at McDonald's or you're going to have to work at wherever. Okay? I'm not saying that that's what will happen. What my encouragement is to be real with God. Give your heart over to God, and He'll open up something for you. It may not be tomorrow. It may not be in a week or a year. But I got to tell you, when God was speaking to me and wanted me to pursue this music, He was whispering. And Scripture tells us to be still and know that He is God. I wasn't being still, so I didn't hear that whisper. So finally, God just had to knock on my head and said, hey, God, I want you to do this. You got a gift. You got talent. I've given it to you. And then I turned around and I said, all right, God, I'll do it. I started writing a song, that last song that you guys just heard. It's the first song that I wrote after God and I had our nice long conversations, multiple days, multiple times. And I started getting scared. Because when you're doing God's work, there's a lot of scary things. And yeah, He gives us the strength, but it's our human nature to just want to draw back. It's our human nature to be scared. Like, even so now, this I love music and I love leading worship and I love speaking. But man, I'm laying out my heart and I'm laying out what God has shared with me. That's scary. And so as I began to get scared, I began to say, God, you've got other people who are way better than me. You've got a better voice, who are much more talented, who got a connection to, who can do this. I can't do it. I'm just a youth pastor at St. Simon's United Methodist Church. And I don't have a clue on how to do this. So I began to make excuses like Moses did. And God answered all of those excuses. And said, this is what I want you to do. You're my child. I've got this path for you. It's not going to be tough. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be tough. But this is what I want. And so I began to pursue that. I began to write songs. And I got connected with a guy named Madir Day. Do you guys know Madir? Isn't that one of the coolest guys? Yes. He's such a cool guy. Madir. He actually gave me a name. There's a guy named Trey Robb, who's a producer from Gainesville, Griffin, Georgia. And he said, this guy will do some good things. He will work some wonders. And I said, all right. So I called Trey at the end of the summer 2 years ago. And Trey pretty much gave me the rundown of how much and what it's gonna take and here are the things we can do and he said, but if you want to go a step further and make a really good album excellent, he said, here's what we can do then. And then he gave me this huge number which I couldn't even fathom. He said to do this with mixing and mastering and musicians and blah 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 all that went with it. He said it's gonna be about $10,000. And I said, wow. I hung up the phone and I said, God, I don't have $10,000 in my pocket. And in fact, I don't know who does. But God said, don't worry, I'll provide. And so my wife and I, we were praying and we were trying to figure out what to do. How to get $10,000. Hit the lottery? No. That's a hit or miss and more likely to miss. And so we begin to think and to dream, and God laid it on our hearts that this is a ministry, and to treat this as mission work, to reach out to others. And we begin to think there's people who travel all over the world because other folks are willing to donate to that cause. And so we wrote out support letters, and we sent support letters to many of you tonight, and to many people who weren't able to make it, and God just really blessed us. In fact, on Tuesday we mailed it out, and on Wednesday, a woman came up to me and she said, I totally understand what you're going through, and I want to give. So in my hands is the first sign that God is confirming this ministry. And months go by, and every day, literally every day for 2 months, people are giving. And I'm like, man, God, this is amazing. And God does amazing things to people who have faith in Him. And then some things started coming in, and then people handed checks and said, I want you to think about this. If you don't get full 10,000, because that's a lot of money, don't be surprised. And not so much as a discouragement, but as they wanted me to prepare, just the just in case. The economy's bad, it's not good, but prepare. And so I gladly accepted the check, and I said, thank you very much. And in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, this is God's. This is what He's asked me to do, and so I'm going to continue to pursue it, not back down at all. And so we head to Griffin. Corella and I head to Griffin, and we're just under our goal. And on Wednesday, we get there on Sunday. On Wednesday, I get a call from my wife, Elizabeth, who's over here hanging out with a couple of guys. On Wednesday, she gives me a call and says, we got a couple checks in the mail today, Kyle. I said, yeah, great. She said, that puts us over what we asked for. God is bigger than the economy. God is bigger than our troubles. He's bigger than our faults and our fears. And what He's asking us here tonight, to not only have a good time, and to not only give our hearts, but to submit. To submit to Him. But in order to do that, we've got to come and we've got to say, God, we need you to clean us up. We want to do your work. We want you to forgive us. We want you to give us clean hands and pure hearts. We want to come and do what you want us to do. As we do this next song, I want that to be your prayer tonight. That you're willing to submit yourself to God, no matter the circumstance, no matter what's going on in your life, whether it's everything's peachy keen or if it's rough, because life can be rough. I want to encourage you to hand that over, whatever it is, your life, your heart, to God, and allow Him to make your path straight. Give us clean hands, and give us pure hearts. Let us not lift our souls to another. Give us clean hands, and give us pure hearts. Let us not lift. Give us clean hands, and give us clean hands. Give us pure hearts. Let us not lift our souls to another. Give us clean hands. Give us pure hearts. Let us not lift our souls to another.